I worked the front desk at a Berlin hotel. An American checked in and immediately asked where he could rent a car. I gave him directions to the rental agency 2 blocks away. He returned 20 minutes later, furious. They won't rent me a car without an international driving permit. I showed them my valid US license. That should be enough. I explained that Germany requires an IDP for Americans. He pulled out his phone. I looked it up. AAS website says I can drive here for 6 months with just my US license. I clarified that was outdated information. Germany changed the law. He demanded I call the rental agency to correct their mistake. I called. They confirmed the requirement. He accused them of discrimination. This is a scam to charge tourists extra money. My license is in English. It's an international language. I pointed out his license didn't have German translations of the categories. He said that was Germany's problem, not his. He wanted to file a formal complaint with the US Embassy. I gave him their number. He never called. Instead, he left a review saying, "Our hotel supports illegal rental practices." And this isn't random ignorance. It's an entire worldview exported abroad. I decode these cultural collisions every week so you don't step into them yourself. If you value understanding the world instead of assuming it's subscribing, keeps you ahead of the next shock. That same week, another guest asked why we didn't have ice machines on every floor. I explained they're not standard in German hotels. She said, "But hotels are supposed to have ice." I offered to bring ice from the kitchen. She declined. I shouldn't have to ask. That's not real hospitality. Last month, someone demanded we validate their parking. We don't have parking. They parked at a public garage 3 streets away. In America, hotels validate parking. I told them we had no agreement with that garage. They wanted compensation for the parking fee. Germans follow rules. Americans often don't realize how seriously we take them. I manage a traditional German restaurant in Munich. An American couple arrived at 2:47 p.m. demanding lunch. Our kitchen closes at 2:30 p.m. It reopens at 6 p.m. for dinner. This is clearly posted on the door, our website, and the menu. The woman said, "But we're here now, and we're hungry." "Just make us something simple," explained our chef had left. The kitchen was closed. The man interrupted. "We're paying customers. You can't turn us away." I suggested 3 restaurants nearby that served food all day. He refused. "We came here specifically. Most people travel expecting the world to adapt to them, but you're here to understand how the world really works, not how America assumes it does. Subscribe, and you'll always be the one who notices what others miss." We read the reviews. "You're open until 11 p.m., according to Google," I clarified. "We're open for dinner service, not continuously." She pulled up our Google listing. "See? It says open, not closed for kitchen break or whatever excuse you're using." I walked outside with her and pointed to our posted hours on the door. The man said, "That's false advertising. You're open but refusing service. That's discrimination." I explained it's standard in Germany. Most traditional restaurants close between lunch and dinner. He declared that was backwards and inefficient. She demanded to speak to the owner. "I am the owner." He said, "Then you should know better. This is bad business. In America, restaurants serve food whenever they're open." I told him this isn't America. He said Germany should modernize. They left a 1-star review claiming we refused to serve Americans. 2 weeks later, an American woman ordered schnitzel and asked for ketchup. We don't have ketchup. We're a fine dining establishment. I offered lemon, which is traditional. She insisted on ketchup. It's just condiments. Every restaurant has ketchup. I explained we use fresh ingredients and traditional preparations. Ketchup doesn't complement schnitzel. She said I was being elitist. Her husband went to a nearby imbis, bought ketchup, and brought it back. She poured it over the schnitzel. Our chef nearly cried. When the bill came, she complained it was too expensive. 22 euros for a piece of fried meat? In Texas, I'd get 3 times this amount for half the price. I explained, Munich prices reflect quality, and location. She said Germans were ripping off tourists. They left exact change, no tip. Then complained online that we were unwelcoming to Americans. Last month, a man ordered Schwinshacks. When it arrived, he said it was raw. It wasn't. The skin was crispy brown, the meat fully cooked. He insisted it looked pink inside. I explained pork can have a slight pink tint even when fully cooked, especially quality pork. He demanded we cook it more. I offered to return it to the kitchen. He wanted a new one, free. I agreed to recook his portion. When it returned, darker and drier, he complained it was overcooked. He refused to pay. I explained he'd eaten most of it before complaining. He claimed food poisoning risk. I could sue you in America for serving raw pork. I calmly noted he was in Germany, the pork was properly cooked, and he'd need to pay. He paid, but deducted what he decided was fair. Compensation for emotional distress. He shorted us €8. I'm a ticket inspector. For Deutsche Bahn, an American woman was traveling from Frankfurt to Munich without a ticket. She said she'd pay on the train. I explained she needed to buy a ticket before boarding or use the onboard machine. She claimed the machine was broken. I checked. It worked fine. She insisted she tried, but it wouldn't accept her card. I asked if she had cash. She did, but I shouldn't have to use cash. This is 2024. Germany should accept American credit cards. Explained most machines do, but she might need to enable international transactions with her bank. She said that was Germany's problem, not hers. The fine is €60. She refused. I'm willing to pay for the ticket, but I'm not paying a fine for your broken system. Explained the system wasn't broken. She hadn't purchased a ticket. She demanded to speak to my supervisor. I called. My supervisor upheld the fine. She threatened to contact the American embassy. This is theft. You're scamming tourists, she paid, shouting that Deutsche Bahn was worse than the Soviet Union. In Stuttgart, I drive a taxi. An American man got in and said, "Take me to the nearest BMW dealership." I asked which one. There are several. He said the closest. I drove to the dealership 3 kilometers away. When we arrived, the fare was €12. He gave me €12 exactly. No tip. I said nothing. He got out. Then he returned. Did you take the shortest route? This seemed long. I explained I took the direct route. He pulled out his phone. Google says it should be 8 minutes. We were in the car for 14. I explained traffic, stoplights, and that Google's time is estimated. He accused me of taking a longer route to inflate the fare. Cabbies do this all the time to tourists. I'm not stupid. I showed him the meter, which tracked the exact route. He said meters can be rigged. He demanded I refund €3. I refused. He said he'd report me. I gave him my taxi license number. He never reported anything. But he did leave a review claiming Stuttgart taxis deliberately scam Americans with fake meters. I work at a pharmacy in Cologne. An American came in asking for Sudafed. I explained we don't sell that brand in Germany. I offered a local decongestant. He insisted on Sudafed specifically. It's the only one that works. I showed him the German equivalent with the same active ingredient. He refused. If it's the same, why not just sell Sudafed? This is suspicious, I explained. Different countries have different brands and regulations. He said America has the FDA. That's the gold standard. German medicine is probably not as safe. I informed him Germany has strict pharmaceutical regulations, often stricter than the US. He said he didn't trust it. He wanted me to order American Sudafed. I explained I couldn't import medication for individual requests. He asked if I could give him a prescription to take to a real pharmacy. I told him I'm a pharmacist. This is a real pharmacy, and he needed to see a doctor for prescriptions anyway. He left, muttering that German healthcare was primitive. I work at a parking garage in Hamburg. An American drove in, parked, and took a ticket. When he returned 3 hours later, the fee was €9. He inserted his credit card. It was declined. He tried again. Declined. He said this machine is broken. Came over to assist. I asked if his card had a chip and PIN. He said it has a chip. That's all that matters. I explained some German machines require PIN entry, not signature. He said American cards don't use PINs. Signatures are more secure anyway. Chips are just for Europe's outdated system. I suggested he try another card or use cash. He didn't have cash. Who carries cash anymore? This is discrimination against Americans. I explained it wasn't discrimination. The machine required PIN authentication for security. He said, then your machine needs to be updated to accept modern American technology. I pointed out that chip and PIN is actually more common worldwide than chip and signature. He disagreed. America invented credit cards. I think we'd know the best system. I offered to call my supervisor to manually process the payment. He refused. I shouldn't have to wait for special treatment just because your machines are broken. He sat in his car for 20 minutes trying different cards. Finally, one worked. It was a card from his German bank account. He'd had it the entire time. As he drove away, he shouted, "Fix your machines." We later found a Google review. Hamburg parking garages are a scam designed to trap American tourists with incompatible technology. Avoid at all costs. These stories aren't about Americans being wrong. Exactly, no villains. It's just incompatible operating systems. If that perspective is the reason you made it this far, subscribing ensures you never miss the next breakdown of how cultures really think. They're about two different worlds colliding. Germany has rules, systems, and cultural norms built over decades. Americans arrive with their own expectations, often assuming global standards match American ones. Neither side is wrong. But the confidence, the absolute certainty that their way is the universal way, that's what creates these moments. Next time you travel, remember every country thinks their system makes perfect sense. Because in their country, it does.